Good morning, good afternoon, and everybody, welcome to the second dev diary of my custom Pokemon ROM hack I am calling Pokemon Triver. So if you haven't seen the first video, here is a link to it, you can find in the corner, where I go through the original route, some of the early design choices I made, and I spoke a bit about the sort of crafting master in here and the Arceus quest. So in this video, I want to talk about some of the next stages. So once you've finished in Clayhaven, you're pretty much going to be making your way to the first badge. So depending whether you're playing on level caps or you're playing in Nuzlocke or whatever, I've tried to make it a way for you to have decisions. So I'm going to show you Route 2. So Route 2, you can see here it's kind of a standard looking route. We can see in the game you have this very sort of small viewing window, which I normally use when I'm creating the maps, and I have two directions you can take, and you'll find this in a lot more of the open routes. I try to make sure that the player can see all the time where they're going, so I try to have a lot of like smaller, thinner, actual direct walking points on larger open routes. Although the player is sort of guided along multiple areas, at all times they can only see where it's going forwards. We can also see I've divided the map into two. This is again to give you a bit of choice as you're travelling around. Do you want to take the fast route, which means you got to beat this trainer? Or do you want to take the slightly slower route, but you won't have to take on any trainers, but you'll have to deal with the grass? We can also see this route on the right, so let's move our way over there to that trainer in red. So this trainer in red, and you'll see a few of them throughout the game as we go. They are basically the ace trainers of this game, and the ace trainers are going to be found normally off the beaten track. We again look at that map, we can see she's not required to make progress. This is where you're going towards Mahogany Hills, and this will lead you to the first gym. However, she is going to be blocking this area here. You're going to be getting your first load of berries, and there's some very good berries. One of the sort of things I try to do in this game, one of the things I try to make sure I do in this game is make you want to think and use the items you can access. So with the berries, they are often overlooked in a lot of games. So I decided why not include them on reasonably often points when you can also use them quite a lot for your crafting. So in this case, you'll be able to get a load of berries which can help you with stopping yourself being paralyzed, getting some orange berries which can turn into berry juices, and you can also get some items that are going to help you in the first gym. So if you don't know, there's a couple of badges, a couple of berries you can use which actually let you take less damage from super effective moves. And with the first gym being flying type, you're actually going to get one here. So if you wanted to bring just let's say you chose the grass starter, you can actually bring it to maybe apply some leech seed to help your other team, or plan out a surprise hit you weren't expecting if you're doing Nuzlocke. We've also got mulch hidden, so if you haven't actually used mulch before, you can actually find some hidden on one of these tiles. I'm just going to check which one it is. It's the one I haven't checked yet. So mulch, you can use it here, and we've got the growth mulch, for example. Later in the game, you'll be able to get as much as you want. They do different things. Some of them speed up the berry growth, some of them give you higher yields, some of them do a mix of both. It's very useful for those who want to get the most that they can from their berries as quickly as possible. So if you want to spend a bit more time traditional and get a load of them, really spread out your team and think about it, this is a great chance to it. If people are interested, I am debating, probably not for the first release, but looking at doing a sort of difficulty hack, maybe an expert mode, where IVs and EVs will be a bit more important. The movesets of each of the trainers are vastly improved, especially for the boss battles, and you'll sort of be required to really think about things as you go along. Don't worry, for the base version of the game, that's not going to be the case. But once you've beaten that trainer, you'll be able to come here, and she's just going to be brilliant, and she's going to give you a few of those. You get the cherry berries, the leopard berries, persim, and the Whelmer Pale. So you're now able to start growing one of those berries. And again, it's not a required place to go. It may be just something you want to you decide to do because maybe you've been a bit unlucky in your encounters. You picked up a couple of bug Pokemon, a couple more grass Pokemon. And with the first gym being flying, you want to use some extra items to really think about it. Right, so the rest of Route 2 is not the most going on. It's your standard early game route. You can get some encounters. You also have this place here, and it's the first hidden grotto. you need to get an item to do that. I mentioned last week about HMs. The fact is actually HMs are removed from the game. They're instead replaced by items, and we'll talk about that in a little bit in a moment. Mahogany Hills. So it's the first sort of dungeon of the game. If you remember back in the original Hoenn, you've got Petalburg Woods, and the same in Viridian Forest. It's quite a, not so much a maze as it is those ones, but it's a great route for you to start travelling in. So we got the first place of getting some of those Pokemon, a lot of bug Pokemon. So if you're unlucky, you can probably get one of those, but you could be lucky and get Pichu, which is going to be fantastic for the flying badge. And again, you can see there's already loads of different routes you can take. So we have this first little area here. As you're making way across, you again see, oh, there's a hand axe route. I can't make my way through there. This is just to give a shortcut between players who are wanting to go from the eastern part to the western part later on. We can also see down here, if you remember I spoke about the first quest where a little girl has gone missing. It's actually found down here. She's being chased by a large Pokemon, and your job is to sort of help her and protect her. And this is where I'm trying to use totem Pokemon. Currently totem Pokemon are tied to specific events. I'm thinking about having them hidden out in the wild. So I'm sorry I forgot to change out there, but we could possibly have them hidden on each of the routes, so acting as kind of like a final boss for various routes. Maybe we would put one down here. You could take on, maybe it could be one raised up here. Some of the routes would probably need changing to handle that. But the first one you'll counter would probably be Poochyena. With the boost that comes with Expanded Emerald, I can give specific boosts. So I think this one, it gains some attack and some defense and some speed to make it a little bit harder than what you're sort of expecting. So despite the fact you could take on 6v1, it is going to be a bit more challenging. But early game, again, is not the toughest. They're holding an item, a couple of water guns later, and you've taken it out. Once you've done this, the girl will be very happy, and you'll be able to collect your reward. You'll also get the TM for Thief. This is to help you guys get items you possibly would need for crafting. I do think I'm going to change how crafting is handled by removing the requirement of Thief, and when you beat a Pokemon that's holding an item, it will just drop it. Again, we have on the left here another decision that you may or may not want to take in the game. We have another one of those ace trainers blocking a TM. I do want to say the red balls are temporary. I will add orange balls to make it clear where the TM is. But the only way to get that item is of course through beating her. And it is the TM for Shockwave. It could be invaluable when you're doing your, take on the gym. But the question is, do you want to risk it on a speed run and try and take her on? Maybe it'll make the gym easier. Whereas as Nuzlocke, she could cause some issues. Maybe Shockwave will be a really powerful item for you, but how many Pokemon would you lose in the way? I really try and push this idea of choice and player-driven choice. Okay. In the second part of Mahogany Hills, again, a lot like Route 1, there are slightly different encounters here. So this side, there's a few less bug Pokemon, so maybe you want to buy a Repel. You've got a good chance of getting a Bonsly or Slack Off, which could be, again, fantastic for the first gym. But we have these things here. These are going to be very important later on. And there's 4 locations around the map. I think I've got 3 designs so far, where you can find 4 special buttons. And they're going to tie to legendary Pokemon. Once you find the 4 buttons hidden in Mahogany Hills, you'll be able to access down here. And this one is going to lead to Hoenn, the big snail-like Pokemon. I think it's a great easy way to put it in there. And the way I'm handling legendary Pokemon is you're not going to just be able to use a Master Ball on it. Unlike other games where you just sort of encounter it and you move on, in my game you're going to have to beat it and its totem form, and some of the later ones will beat the level 100 level cap. You've really got to think about what you're doing and take it on. When you manage to successfully take on, you'll then be able to catch them afterwards. So you'll have a boss fight where you're not accessing your balls, and then you can throw your Master Balls or Ultra Balls. So hopefully make Legendaries feel like a real ordeal, like something special and powerful out in the world, normally end of little quest lines and stuff. Now back to the rival. So if you remember Cassius from the first one, his brother came in and annoyed you. Well, this is him popping up for the first time. hold with us. The sprites are temporary. We need to look at getting custom sprite, but that will come in the future. Here he is. He's just beaten the first badge, and he's coming to you to gloat that you were so far behind. And like he says, I try to make him a frustrating and annoying to beat little boss who pops up and just causes you trouble. He's normally going to be slightly, when he pops up, he's not going to heal you like they did in the newer games. He's going to come along and try and cause you as many issues as possible. And he does have a reasonably put together team. So he doesn't have a starter itself, unlike the modern games where they pick a starter stronger to you or weak to you. Because of the 8/9 choices, I moved a different way, and instead he's got 3 Pokemon plus the Pineco to sort of lead it. So to give himself grass coverage, he's got himself a Seedot. To give himself rock coverage, he's got Rock and Roller. That's not rock coverage, but he has a mix of them all. I'm not completely satisfied with the way the trainer is at the moment. I'm probably going to make some more changes to it. I think for now it's a temporary fix and it sits better, but you can say, so what's he got? A Marrow, a Rock and Roller, a Seedot, and a Pineco at the moment. There is no fire option, which probably needs to be fixed. I think yeah, it's something that needs a lot more work and some sort of things fixed. For now, it's a temporary. If you guys have better ideas on what we could do to maybe improve it, please drop a comment, because building all these teams and stuff can be quite difficult, and that's probably one of the things I find weakest. But you beat him. He's level 13. He's not the toughest to go, and he, as a reward, will give you the hand axe. So as I was saying, the hand axe is a replacement for cut, and it is a key item. Once you've got a hand axe, you are now able to cut any of those areas down. So we're going back down here. You can now actually access this item here. It's just an ultra ball, but you can cut the shortcut across. You can also go further into the game. Previously, this was originally designed with you requiring the badge to get further, but a lot of people were saying that doesn't feel right, and it feels kind of weird, and I get it, but you need that item to make progress. So instead, we've removed that, and you can start heading through. You can also come through to the first hidden grotto, where you can get Rowlet. Hidden grottos are going to be used to normally put out legendary, starter Pokemon, and they're each going to be only found in their specific grotto, and that's the only Pokemon you'll find there. The gym itself, so we'll explore a bit more Mahogany Hills in a minute, but a quick chat about a gym. You can already see a trigger has happened when we've come in, and this is sort of my insert. Again, sprites are temporary. I'm not an artist. But this guy, it was me. He is not impressed with me at the moment. But the more trainers you beat, there's a little internal counter that keeps track. If you've beaten most of the trainers between the two gyms, he'll take you on. And he won't battle you unless you've done it. He has what I think is a very tough team. If most of the game is, of low difficulty, he changes that. And he is meant to be tough. And if you beat him all 8 times, and then after the Elite 4, you'll be able to take on Victini and catch Victini for yourself. But I've designed him in a way where he will only use Pokemon that are available to you as the player. He's not going to be pulling out like a Magmar or a Charizard in Route 1, because, the level cap is 15. So he's only got Pokemon up to level 15. He will be harder than the gyms. He will have a full 16 Pokemon, but again, he will only have moves that are available to you. So don't expect him to start using Thunderbolt when you yourself haven't got Thunderbolt TM or Pokemon that would learn it naturally at that level. And the same for the held items. You will only have items you've got. The idea is try and make a tough reflection of what could have been, what you could get if you grind it out. And again, the AI isn't the smartest, so you probably should be able to beat it due to your own intelligence. Your reward for beating him will be an ability patch. For those who don't know, it gives a Pokemon their hidden ability. The gym, flying gym, every gym will have this greeter. Greeter's great. Firstly, he will give you some information, so those who don't know what the weakness is. He will then heal you up, and he'll do one thing, which is if you are playing level caps, he will give you an option to battle him. If you're playing without level caps, you won't get this battle. He's got a level 100 Blissey that will just memento itself, giving you enough XP to instantly get up to level 15 or the level cap of that area. You also gain an increased XP rate when you reach a gym for the first time. I think all XP is increased by like 50% until that gym is beaten. So the idea is to hopefully remove the requirement for grinding while still giving us the level curve you normally would get between Pokemon games. But I could add the rare candy, infinite rare candy jar. It's still an option. That's something I might do. But for now, this allows you to play hopefully freely as you're going through, and not just have to instantly level up all the time. But once you get to the gym, and that's sort of like your checkpoint point, you can get all your Pokemon quickly up to scale. As I spoke earlier, you have your shortcut here, which will now allow me to quickly hop between the first gym and the town. To do this, we need to scare the boys off. So they heard some noise and they're going to run off. And there's the Pokemon that you can chase through. Otherwise, yeah, you can head back into town and now you can freely head to and from. There is a little quest for those boys. If you speak to them and maybe catch the Pokemon of note, you'll be able to follow it to somewhere special. And you can see it will chase. You'll be able to chase it all the way through the maps. I'm not going to do that. I'd like to give a few secrets for you guys to continue to explore. Some other interesting things I've tried to add as a consistent thing throughout the game is this skitty. This skitty, when you find it around about, it hands you over a load of berries. A few more earlier ones that you otherwise wouldn't find. I think there's about 3 at the moment, and I want to add more into the games. And I've also taken the chance to add all of the gym leaders in from Hoenn. Because the game has already got the Hoenn trainers in, and because they've already got decently made teams, I thought why not include them? And they are just their base teams. But if you manage to beat them and take them on, you will get their item like normal. So if you take on Roxanne here, she will give you her Rock Tomb, and then she would also give you access to this little area here. Up here is a professor called Darwin, a slightly different Pokemon professor. He quite likes his fossils, and this is why she was here. She was visiting her friend, and if you speak to him, you're able to pick a fossil. You'll be able to catch him later, where you'll be able to revive the fossil, but you're only allowed 1. You'll be able to get it around Gym 4, so don't worry if you don't get it straight away. Not much benefit from doing it too early. I need to add in the other fossils, and you will be able to access both fossils eventually, just not straight away. You also get a cell battery here. Again, I've tried to give out items that can possibly help you in the gym, and the cell battery boosting electric moves should be great for the flying gym, without being too overpowered. Some other areas to note is sort of to reward you for exploration. We have here this trainer, important later, but will help you get all of the evolution stones. We got some, and then a lot of areas you can explore, but you need, your Mac bike. And this is the long route round. There's a little something there. Maybe you need an item to transfer, or you can head across. You can actually find another cave here. And this cave, it will give you a new chance to get some rock Pokemon if you didn't get lucky in the previous one. You'll also make your first progress towards Arceus, or your second progress towards Arceus. So if you remember back in Playful Cave, they were talking about these symbols everywhere, and he actually mentioned one in Mahogany Hills. This is the one he was talking about. And if you inspect it, Alex is once again going to come over. So you read this message about carving with some weird bug-like Pokemon crawling over a plate. And Alex is very pleased that you've come over, and he starts talking about these various carvings all over the world, and they seem more like doorways, so you just need a key. And he's not sure on what happens. He thinks there's a hidden 19th plate used as a key to access them. And that's what he's looking for. And what he gives you is a little history book, which can help you translate the sort of text. That will be a very useful item later on to actually get you progress through the game and lead you to Arceus. We'll discuss it when we actually reach it, but we do need to make a decent progress through the game. But for now, that's all that we can do. And of course, you can make your long way round to access more trainers and some extra area. And of course, now you've got the hand axe, you are able to go deeper into the game. So if you want to skip the first gym, that is on you. It's similar to how Kanto works. You don't actually have to complete all the gyms to make progress. Once you've got the second gym, you can get cut. You can completely skip Surge, and you can then go to Erica once you've done the SS and you can even go to Koga. And once you get sort of Surf, you can do gyms in a really weird order. Similar here, I may offer a mode where we do scaling, I might just do scaling anyway, giving you the chance to travel through and gain badges and increase your level cap without the requirement of having to do them one by one by one. So a couple of things about the gym. I've tried to do it so some gyms are more puzzle focused and some gyms are more battle focused. The original plan was odds were going to be puzzle focused, evens were going to be more or the other way around, sorry. So the idea was even numbered gyms were going to be puzzle focused, odd numbered gyms were going to be trainer focused. That's kind of changed, and I'm doing it based on what I feel fits better. For flying gym, we have got a couple of trainers you have to beat to make your progress in a little gauntlet. Again, you can easily sort of go back and heal between them. If I do in hard mode, you'll probably be forced to do all of this in one go, and if you leave at any point without beating the gym leader, it will refresh it. You've also got this guy you'll be able to find in every gym, and it's basically a friend of mine called Ollie who loves Steelix. So you're going to find him in every single gym, trying to learn about all the different types. Quite early on he's simple, but here's just a little extra bonus that will probably lead to a little prize at the end. I don't know what it is. What do you think beating a trainer 8 times, maybe 9 times the Elite Four as well, will get you? But then finally we have Jaden. The overall sprite is temporary, but we do actually have a custom sprite for the battle. Jaden is our flying type gym leader. He is part of the Winged City. The Winged City is sort of a late game area where you're actually going to explore. I'm not sure currently if it's going to be on your way up to the Elite Four or somewhere you'll access after you've beaten the Elite Four. But it's full of very powerful sort of flying trainers, including Jaden, and they sort of worship the sort of powerful Latios, and the other 3 legendary birds, Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos. And you actually be using them to find where the 3 birds are to access Lugia's hidden island and take on Lugia herself. And you'll hopefully see some of that from the design. But as the first badge, he's not going to be the toughest one to take on. He has a Murkrow that sets up, an Archon, which is a solid Pokemon, but as long as it doesn't get off an ancient power boost, you should be able to beat quite handily. Just remember, it's got Defeatist. It's got a Staravia, it's not a Staravia, the middle one, Starly's Evolution, and a Dartrix. So although you could just come in and try and sweep with your rock Pokemon, actually Archon's going to make that a bit more difficult, being resistant to rock, and the grass one is going to be very strong against it. But we do have here the artwork. The artwork has all been done by a brilliant artist who contacted me and volunteered called Darkest Lariat. Do sort of give them their props. They've done brilliant work and they've created all 4, and the 5th gym is coming very soon. All of those have been created by him, and I absolutely love the design he's put into the Winged City outfit. Again, you can kind of see that Lugia inspiration with the colours, and you can almost make out the sort of base of Lugia on it, and you're going to see this a lot more when we get to the Winged City. But I'm going to end this episode here because I don't want to spoil too much of the fight for you and some of the other areas. If you're interested in seeing more, then please sort of follow, and if you have questions on other areas, maybe you want to hear a bit more about certain places that I might have sort of flown over or spoken in a bit of minor detail, then either download the game, give it a go yourself, or ask questions and I'll try to answer them. I'm going to go through tomorrow and I'm going to talk more about the next area once you've got the gym, as we head towards Route 3 and make our way up the Granite Peak. Granite Peak again is an area which has got a lot going on, and if you do like it, then please drop a like. It does help us get seen by more people who want to sort of see this kind of content, and the more eyes we get on this, the more sort of feedback I can get, and I can make it the best game possible. Otherwise, thank you all for coming, and I'll catch you later.